Hello, good evening everybody, welcome along to the JACKOCAR Cup Series here for Season 5's Championship 5 here in Saudi Arabia. I'm your commentator Owen White. With me I've got Jacko, and Jacko, we do appear to have quite a packed commentary box tonight, so would you care to introduce our guests?
I would absolutely care to. If you just give me 5 seconds to get this tweet out. Oh, you do it on purpose, don't you? Tweet.
I did it
away. Welcome back, JACKOCAR Championship 5 night, Season 5, and Owen White. We are joined by the man who joined us last year and made it to the round of 8 in the playoffs, Gareth Hall.
Good evening.
He's there somewhere.
I'm here. Sorry, I was
there
waiting for the intro for Arnow as well. But yeah, welcome everyone.
It's coming. Don't worry. That's right now. Also, 3-time Championship 5 contender, but never won one. But he was with us in Portugal in the box. Then it is Arnold de Grief.
Hello guys, so nice to be here, but I'm a professional bottle dropper, so don't mind me speaking during the Championship 5. So let's go, let's have it, boys.
I'm glad you said that, not me. But yes, we've got 18 drivers here tonight, since there's 4 of us in the box, so that's why we haven't got our traditional 20 drivers. And we're here in Saudi Arabia for what should be a pretty dramatic race. We've had all sorts of chaos here last season in the All-Star race, and we obviously had the Kia Series on Tuesday as well, where Yuri became champion, so he'll be coming here with a little bit of more confidence, so perhaps he might be able to get involved tonight.
Yeah, it's been good to see from Yuri as well that he of course picked up that double win, the first driver ever to pick up a win in Kia and in Cup in the same week back in Austria after that dramatic end to that race. It saw Corey taking out 3 of the top 4 in the championship, and Yuri picking up the pieces. So he's definitely a driver. He's going to be buoyed. You've seen him already pick up that Kia championship, and coming into this one, what's the reason that he can't get involved in those top 5?
Absolutely. He's been about, hasn't he, all season for the first 10 races of which he was a reserve driver, and if that wasn't the case, his win in Austria would have seen him into the playoffs. But you have to say, he is the deserving Kia Series champion. I mean, you look at the stats. Obviously, they've had 2 less seasons over in Kia, but Yuri sits over there as the all-time most wins leader in the Kia Series with 7. I think 3 or 4 of them coming this season, including Tuesday night. But we are very much looking forward to another Thursday night of racing, actually. But what can Yuri do?
Yes. Can he get involved? Can he get involved in our Championship 5? Who are, as you will have seen if you watched our show earlier on, well done to Jack for putting that together, by the way, but we do have our Championship 5 of Jamie Wright, Ben Shaw, Kieran Spears, Jacob Sullivan and Matthew Redmore. And as we've made it clear already, Matthew Redmore, this is his last ever race in the Cup Series, and so I am sort of wondering if he's going to bow out in style tonight. I wonder if he'll just have that little bit more motivation. This is it for him. He's got to win it now or never, and he got so close last season as well, and it didn't quite happen.
Yeah, indeed. The thing is with Redmond, it's like he has tremendous pace all season long, and it just didn't came together for him in a good way in the championship, in the last playoff rounds, But I think he has definitely the pace to keep it together, have a clean race, keep it cool, and have a decent result, and maybe even a champion. So I'm very curious about this one.
Yeah. Oh, now just a quick question. You were in that race in USA last season when obviously Kieran brought out that safety car. Did you have an answer for Red Matt at all, or was that his race to lose?
To be fair, I didn't have an answer at this pace at all. So to be fair, I was in a way I was happy that the safety car came out, because I was maybe able to go back to him and like being close to him. But then, yeah, definitely things happened during the race that I can still not explain, but still it's done, it's over. But I think it's just a shame that this happened to Redmond last season. I think he wants revenge for sure, and he deserves it as well, because he has been very consistently doing good results all year long, so why not?
Absolutely.
Right then, so we have got our first car out on the track for qualifying, and it is Jess in for car 37, and we saw her on Tuesday. Of course, she was in the race, and so she has had a qualifying round here before. Of course, not actually all that often is it that we actually see, in a situation like this anyway, Kia Series drivers racing the same track as a Cup Series driver on a race as important as this. Obviously, we had the two tiers in Portugal and USA, completely different tracks last season, and so people having that crossover are going to have a slightly different experience with this one, and I imagine the top 5 are going to be aware of that. Like I say, with the likes of Yuri and his brother Leroy, who he fought for the title and arguably was quicker than him, they'll both be getting involved with those guys, so there'll be a lot to think about. But let's see, Justin, heading around the last corner of 27 there is on this track. Me and Liam did have a bit of an argument about this on Tuesday. He fought 23, Jacko fought 67, but we came to the total of 27 as Jess heads into the first of those, and we'll ride on board and see how she gets around, and we'll point out all the sort of danger zones, of which there are quite a lot. Sector 1's relatively tame for the first couple of corners, but it's straight away you get into the faster S section, and you've got to not cut any corners. You haven't got to lose it on any of the curbs either. It's so easy to do so, especially in the right-hander here. If you turn in a little bit too late, harder on a pad, in fairness. I don't know how many are on a pad tonight, but if you're on a pad, that right is particularly difficult. If you get out of that one okay though, which Jess has, then you're onto a slightly easier middle sector, a nice long sort of hairpin, easy to get wrong if you're a little bit too trigger happy on the throttle, but I think by this point, if anyone's practiced, then they won't be making that mistake. And then an easy right left. Be careful you don't hit the wall on the exit here, which some drivers might just little nicks off a bit just to get a little bit more speed out of it. Again, expect that perhaps from the Championship 5 drivers when they're going for their proper laps. And then the next left right coming up, where we see quite a lot of the accidents actually in real life, but not too much in league racing. That curb on the right hand side there in turn 24, an absolute nightmare. It can send you off for a spin. Happened to me when I last raced here. If you hit it in the wrong way, especially with high fuel, you're in trouble. As Jess enters the Verstappen corner, the corner where he crashed out in qualifying, so much so that they had to move the wall away. But no one's going to be hitting that tonight, I wouldn't imagine. As Jess comes to the line, the first time of the night, a 30.1.
And we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for the second time of the night, as Leroy, who finished second on Tuesday, has already invalidated, but can he bounce back? Remember in Sector 10, and he was absolutely rapid on Tuesday night, and if it wasn't for that penalty, he would be the Kia Series champion. But we'll hand over to R now to look at OKK's lap.
Yeah, indeed. Just to mention, a quick mention to Jess. Nice colors on the car, by the way. I really appreciate it. So I'm watching OKK2, and his livery is looking stunning as well. Looking at his lap right now, oof, man, that was close to an invalidation, but it's looking good so far. It's really, the car seems planted, lifting a bit. Ooh, this is white. Oh, no invalidation. That's good. He's still going well. So I guess he's doing great. DRS open, flat, brake as late as possible. This may be a little bit too late, but
yeah,
I think
too late there.
Yeah, it's a bit. I mean, it has a better exit, by the way, because it's like a slingshot, so you can really have a lot of speed. This one is one of the most important corners of the track, because if you touch the inside wall, of course, then you have a problem because you have wing damage, and it compromises your whole straight line speed till the next corner. And I think this is definitely one of the most important corners on the track, because this is like, for me, the dead corner. It takes it perfectly, to be fair. Online, no invalidation yet, keeps it green, DRS open, last straight to land, keep as close as possible to the wall to not lose time. And then we're gonna see his braking point, I guess around 75 meters, or it's even later, so good job. A little bit too late, but still okay, he managed it well, goes out flat. And what is interesting is he's not derating with his ERS, so there he goes, pole position right now.
And that takes us on board with MK Bourne, who's currently just left the road coaster of Sector 1. He's now sweeping into the back end of the circuit, up to the off-camber left-hander. Late apex to turn in here. Just to go back and pole, the only time that we've ever raced here at Saudi Arabia was back in the All-Star race a few months ago, and it was actually Arnell that took pole in that one, a 27.401. So that's what they're all going for tonight. So that 29.5 that currently stands by OKK is going to be under threat, I imagine. And MK Bourne, who's flying around this circuit, kept it green so far as he's making his way up the back end. You can see DRS wide open as he sweeps his way now up towards the final real braking zone that you can just take a little bit of, well, I say braking zone, more of a lift there as you go through it. Oh, a big twitch from MK Borden as he almost collects the wall, but now just the final two corners, just slight kink of 26 and now into 27, and it's going to be MK Borden up to the line very, very shortly. It seems as though purple and those dark blues is a popular colour for this C5, but what can MK Borden do? A double dose there of DRS, sweeps down to the line. It's going to be a low 29, it's a 29.166.
Yeah, still a couple of seconds away before we get to Arnoud's All-Star time. Do you remember that one, Arnoud? Your last pole in the league. As we join Connor on board for his lap, of course, did all right on Tuesday night in the Kia series, didn't he? Got pole position, and then what's happened here? He's lifted.
Yes.
I'm not sure what he's done there. Got pole position and then ended up P3 on the podium. I'm certainly not expecting this lap to be very good at all anymore.
Yes.
But definitely been showing a lot of
problem. Yeah.
Is he out of fuel?
Problem? No, yeah, I don't know.
He's out of fuel.
He's out of fuel.
Yeah. How's that a thing that's possible? I'm amazed.
No, Owen, I don't think he's out of fuel.
No, you can see it. You can see on his dash. It's not .0. It's hit 0 now, that fuel, so he's going to run out of fuel. And indeed, there he goes, he's run out. And that might struggle to get back to the pit lane at a reasonable speed. Hopefully, that doesn't get in the way of Pete, who is catching him, and it is on his lap. And, well, another challenge at 5, where this man isn't one of the 5. And we expect him to be there every season, but then he just doesn't quite make it. Tries to get a little toe off of Connor's car. And, well, once again, I suppose you'll be sitting there saying, don't worry, I'll be here next season. As he comes out of the final corner. If he can at least finish this season on a high, it'd be nice to see. A 29.1 to beat. And can he do it? Derated again, but it is P1 for now.
Let's go. I was wondering who was next on the list, but I see it's Harrod, so I'm just going to follow him on board. He's on the mediums, right? Or am I mistaken with somebody? Yeah, he is.
Mediums.
Actually. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I didn't even have time to watch his lap because, I was watching Connor too much, so sorry for that. You see, I'm clearly not used to comments, so sorry for that.
I'll tell you what, you'll be disappointed if you are covering Yuri's lap because he's spun at the final corner, and that is not the run to the line he's looking for. But anyway, Gareth, next one up. Unfortunately, your one's also invalidated.
He has, yes. I was watching on board Jamie, who had a really decent sector one. Actually, he was flowing through very nicely up by quite a few tenths, but it was just the kink at turn 17 just cut it ever so slightly, and the man that has the best result in qualifying and in the race, of 4th place in the USA, invalidates that one. Will be starting from the second to back row of the grid.
Yeah, no, and I think you might have got it a little bit wrong actually. Yuri probably spun on his out lap rather than his hot lap.
Well, yeah, my point is though it gives him a slower run.
It's a slower run, absolutely, but we join him in the middle part of the second sector, and he's all too familiar with this now, isn't he? He spent 10 laps fighting with his brother around these streets and ended up being the Kia Series champion. As we approach turn 38, where will Yuri go? I spoke to him earlier in the week. What are your expectations now that you're champion? Because obviously this race doesn't mean too much. Obviously there are no teams in JACKOCAR, but he will try and help his friends, let's say, that also wear light blue. That's his goal for tonight, as he's got a lovely slipstream from, I think that's Pete, and into the final corner goes Yuri. Where will it put him, of course? Hampered by that spin on the outlap as he approaches the end of the line. As we go past the restart zone, that's here by the way, and over the line that's P4 for Yuri.
Here comes SD Mats.
I was watching Jordan on his outlap, and he actually hit the wall, and I think he has wing damage because he validated it. So the thing is, Jordan, I think he hit the wall on his outlap and had wing damage from it, and he validated his qualifying lap. So that's a shame.
And while he isn't the fan favourite in the league, he is a bit of a commentator's favourite, is SD Max. We all want to see him succeed. Not quite in the Challenge 5 this season, but has certainly showed a lot of potential and was very consistent in the early part of the season. Can he get himself towards the front? He was also very good in qualifying, I recall, recently. So we know he's decent. P4 for now, not his best performance, but we are into the closing stages of qualifying, and so he may still be able to sneak into the top 10 with that. Oh, and look at this, invalid for Jordan as well. So he is, as you say, broken wind damage, broken everything really. And
I think it was so weird because I think it was in the second sector. I think it was the first chicane that they hit the wall on the left side, and wing damage. And I guess no lap for Jordan, unfortunately, which is a shame, by the way, because it's shown in the past tremendous pace around here. So it's a bit of a shame.
And that puts us on board then with Corey for this one, as he's currently just started his lap, making his way through the first sector, sweeping his way left and right, runs ever so slightly onto the curb, but very nicely held indeed from Oxfordshire's finest. The man with 3 stage wins, the most amount of wins in the Cup season in total. Of course, picked up the win in Baku, in Italy, and in Silverstone, and could have possibly picked one up in Austria, as you can see, crazing the wall there as Corey is really wringing the neck of this car as he throws it around the Jeddah circuit. And into the third sector we're going to go once again. You can see leaving the red wall paint on that wall as he flies his way around the back end of the circuit, driving up towards the slight kink here as we go a jink to the left, a jink to the right, and then flat out with some DRS up to the top into the final corner of the circuit. Corey's kept it green, which is what we like to see. He's going to definitely put himself up in towards that 28.3 that's currently set by Speed Knight. And of course, Pete, will we see it go purple, because he's going to get a good run here. You can see the brake disc glowing orange or yellow flag out. That's Corey. He's going to ignore that. He wouldn't even care if there were 7 cars strewn across the track in front of him. He's going to come up to the line. What's he going to do? It's a 27.8. Great lap there from Corey.
Fantastic.
Yeah, as we move to Casper, who has invalidated, but notably he is the last of the non-Championship 5 drivers that you've got coming up. How close was this man to being a part of the big show tonight? Didn't quite happen last week in Japan for him, but he is absolutely ready to come back next season and have another go at it. What about Red Matt then?
He isn't coming back next season, but he's certainly going to try and make the most of the time he's got left. And he was very strong in the first part of the season, was Red Matt. We all know that. He was incredibly quick. He picked up 2 wins, including the first ever win at a super speedway in France, and has been on pole 5 times this season, so he's certainly looking to make that 6. He has been a little bit off the pace, I would say, recently, but this would be some fantastic time to come back. The first of our Championship 5 runners grazes the wall on the exit of the final corner, really giving it everything. A 27.8 to beat, and he does it. P1 for Red Matt.
Fantastic lap by Red Matt. Jeez, that's how we like it from Red Matt. And I'm on board with Cashman. He's on the mediums, by the way. This is very interesting. And I've got to say, he's very, very careful on his mediums, because I saw him lifting at some corners that others were flat, but I mean, he's on mediums, so I guess that's completely normal. This is the big corner. You see, very, very careful on the throttle and in the braking zone, so I guess he's really just want to keep it validated and enjoy the alternative strategy. Jesus, I can't talk anymore, like usual. And he's approaching the last corner, and braking point is perfectly, misses a bit of the apex with the understeer, but he's going to the line. Keep it left, my friend, for minimum meters to the line, and it's actually a good time, because 28.5 on mediums is a very, very good time.
And then we've got J. Luke, the man who's won 2 championships already, who clips the inside wall through turn 17. He's on the mediums and he's struggling. You can see the lateral movement in the car, especially through the quicker corners. He's definitely running a slippery setup. But what can he do? He's still making his way around the circuit. It's still a positive lap time, but you can see just about kept that one out the wall. He is definitely having to fight this one. It's a car seemingly set up for straight line speed and maybe not so much for the corners. He's hugging the wall. Look at him trying to make the circuit as small as possible. Up to the final corner comes J. Luke. He's got an average qualifying result of 5.4. What can he do? There's a puncture. It's a puncture on the front right for him. So hit the wall.
That could be a blessing. That could be a blessing in disguise, because he can't start on those tyres now, and he's gone P5. This may actually be a positive for him.
As we got to quickly go to the pole master, he could equal the record set by yourself, Arnaud, and Jamie Wright a couple seasons ago. If he gets pole tonight, it'll be number 7, and he will equal that record. It is, of course, Iceman Ben Shaw, the people's pick for the championship tonight. He is the fastest on paper nowadays. What can he do up to the line? It's Pony P2 for now.
Here we go then. Kieran has got to make this one count. He's been on pole 2 times. He dominated the last Cup Series race. In fact, he's won 2 out of the last 3. He's really been on superb form, winning in the wet in Mexico and in Japan. But can he make it work tonight? He goes a little bit wide, but you can do that because of the way the curbs work here on this track. The track limits are a little bit deceiving, and he only has 2 more quarters to go as he goes through 26. It's barely really a corner, this one. He stays tight to the inside and is all the way through to the hairpin now. Can he get it slowed down? Does he hit the apex? He certainly does. Gets himself to the exit. Doesn't risk hitting that wall. He's got a 27 for the beat. And can Kieran put himself onto pole tonight? No, he can't. It's going to be Red Matt on pole then for the Championship 5. His last ever race in JACKOCAR. And Kieran will be alongside him with Iceman in 3rd. And then, of course, you're going to have Jake and Jamie. Will Jamie start on those mediums? Will he be given a new set? What's going to happen for him? But regardless, those 2 are well in the top 10 on mediums. We've seen this strategy tried so many times before and not work. This might be the first time it does.
It's one of those races where will strategy actually come into play. Of course, a JACKOCAR, you can't really plan for anything because anything can happen, but if we just so happen to get a normal race, Jake and Jamie are in a very good place. I do know the strategies of the other 3. I won't give it away for their sake, but I think we are poised nicely, aren't we, for this one?
Yeah, indeed. It's so interesting to see what's going to happen, to be fair, because I think Kieran lost his pole position with not hitting the apex right on the last chicane before the straight, and I think he lost it there, unfortunately. But I'm really very curious how aggressive Iceman and Kieran are going to be on Red Matt. Are they going to be like super aggressive to just have clean air? Or are they just going to follow Red Matt and so he can burn his ERS and they're going to just sit behind him? I'm very curious about strategy calls.
And we come into this one, and Kieran is once again right up there. He's just absolutely turned it on in the late stages of this season. Really switched on his quali pace and his race pace, and put himself in 2nd position is a mega result for him. He's the holder of the smallest winning margin of the season, that 0.544 of a second against Corey in Mexico, and well, it's perfect positioning from here, because 2nd position isn't necessarily the worst position here, because you've got a nice position on the grid. You can send it down the inside into turn 1. Red Matt, however, that's probably the best we've seen him in qualifying for quite a while. He went off the boil a little bit after dominating earlier in the season, but yeah, Red Matt on pole.
Yeah, level on 6 poles this season then, with Ben Shaw, Red Matt, and with him on the grid, Kieran, Iceman, and then Corey and Pete, the non-Challenger 5 runners, getting in between Jake and J-Luke, and then I'll be having to be very quick. I'm not even going to bother. Let's just scroll down. Nowhere near enough time to read all those off, but you can see the grid for yourself as we get ready for the Championship 5. Obviously, we've not seen the weather, but judging by the fact that 2 of our Championship 5 qualified at meetings, that would probably suggest it will at least start dry. And I expect rain's probably high unlikely unless Jacko's secretly set the weather again, which I don't think he has. I hope he hasn't.
It's not the All-Star race. This is a cup race, so we can't touch the weather. Although with that said, when we had to restart a race a couple of weeks ago, I did have to set the weather to what the guys said it was.
That's a quick start, by the way. They have already started the countdown immediately. So
mind games, my friend. Mind games. No time for setup and things like that.
Speaking of quick starts, I do wonder how long until we get the pad users saying it's not a pad track. How many laps do we give it? Maybe the first retirement. Of course, the 2 pad users are Red Matt and Jamie. Kieran, Jake, and Ben are all on lovely shiny race wheels. I don't know what I was trying to say there. But Owen Wyatt, our last formation lap of the season. Who you got?
Well, this is always a tricky question going into Championship 5, but I always seem to be relatively good at getting this right. I'm sorry, I just can't see past Jamie for some reason. He's just always there, isn't he? We've said this all the way through the playoffs as well. If you think he's out of it, you are wrong. Because he always shows up in USA. No 148 hope. As you say, lowest points ever to get into this situation because he's there when he needs to be. And he's on the right strategy. I suspect they may even be nice shiny new mediums compared to Jake's 1 or 2 lap old mediums, and so I'm giving this to Jamie for now, but safety cars could ruin it, and if they do ruin it and make the soft strategy better, I'm going with Kieran because of his form recently.
Okay. I am going to disagree with you. I'm going to go with Iceman as your champion tonight. A straightforward race. I don't think Kieran has the head for it. And Red Matt, well, he's on pad, isn't he? I am going to go along with the pad user's excuse here. So I think Iceman, and knowing what type of practice he's done, I can't look past him.
It's my turn to call it now?
Go ahead.
Of course, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go for Kieran, but I'm gonna make it excited. I think Iceman and Redmond are gonna battle for it, and Kieran's gonna run away with it, just because one of them makes a mistake and takes them both out. Something crazy. Let's go.
Well, I'll go different to all of you then, and I'm going to go for Red Matt, the man sitting on pole position. He's led 30.9% of all the laps this season. That's how many laps he's led. So he's only picked up, and I've actually listed the amount of penalties that everyone's picked up. 24 seconds of penalties he's picked up this season. So he keeps it clean. He keeps it on the black stuff, and well, he's one of the only drivers in the Championship 5 that's got a positive net gain loss moving forward from his grid slot. So at the moment he can only go back, but he's on +6. What can he do from pole?
Well, congratulations then to Jake on the Season 5 Championship, because absolutely none of us have predicted him, which must mean we're all wrong, as they line up on the grid for a final time this season, and the silence descends upon the track as we wait for those 5 red lights to set us on our way for one more time on F1 2021. Look out, here we go. It's Red Matt from Kieran on the front row. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing for the last time this season. And looks like Red Matt's got away very well indeed. Corey getting himself in between some of the Championship 5 runners and having a collision now, look, with Iceman. He already has to cut through turn 2, and Corey nearly loses it on the exit. Looks like we've got Pete as well trying to get involved. This is going to block the progress of Jake and of Jamie. But look at Jake on the inside of Iceman. And he spins off. He's going to go all the way to the back of the field with this one. And he's going to have a lot of work to do. He went for it too early. And this makes Jake the top runner. As we see, this makes Jamie the top runner on mediums, as I see Corey way off the road. Did he make contact with someone else, I wonder, as he falls down the field? What a dramatic start. And you can see this, Kieran is 2.6 seconds in front of Iceman, thanks to all the mess going on there. So it's already the top 2 breaking well away.
Great start there from Red Matt. Sorry, just jumping. Great start from Red Matt, holding a 9/10 second lead. And as you say, the front 2 already 2.3 seconds up the road, which could be crucial when it comes to DRS being activated, because Kieran will not have to worry about anyone behind him. So Iceman has got a big task to reel in, but Kieran cutting the line, that's definitely one warning already from him there as he tries to hold on to Red Matt. He's 6/10 behind, but that 2.3 second gap, Iceman has got a lot of work to do in the next 2 laps.
And I do wonder as well, did Iceman pick up a warning for Corey pushing him wide at turn 2, and then Corey continuing the battle all the way up to turn 4? He might have cost him some wing damage as well as we see the leaders pit, but we'll see what happens later on as they all get it slowed down nicely as Pete leads the race.
Oh man, I was watching the battle in the midfield with Casper, Yuri. Who was it else? Who was there? They were like so. I think they were in 2/10 from each other in one corner. There are 4 drivers so close that they could have easily ended in an accident, but they kept it clean so far. So very good driving, to be fair. And everything was clean so far. Just a shame for the start, because I think it was Cashman who went for it, and he was there. It was his corner, but unfortunately, I think Corey turned in a bit, which was his right to do so. But yeah, anyway, I think. Sling long race ahead, head down, and just see where it's going.
So Jamie then also pitted with all those guys in lap 1, as did Jake, and they are now on the softs. And so this means that Jamie, we've got to keep our eye on him, because in theory he should be starting to reel in the gap. And I'm hoping he will be able to keep his head here, because he should still be in a good position. There was a lot of mess on that first lap, and he kept himself well out of the way of it. And it's got him a good gap to OKK behind. We've got yellow flags for Leroy, who's lost it. And he's hit the wall trying to recover. This feels very reminiscent to a certain Kieran last season, doesn't it? But he gets himself recovered, and luckily doesn't bring out a safety car. Although he has got a broken front wing.
Yeah, I think on the inside of the corner there is some debris, so they have to be very careful to avoid it, or at least don't go too close to the wall. It's going to be a shame to have a puncture if you're the leader right now.
Pete then.
See Pete leading the way he is, and doing quite a good job, is it? Because he's holding off Casper now, 2.2 seconds, and then Yuri, as we were saying, just doing what Yuri does, just keeps it consistent, keeps it between the two white lines on either side, and I'm not surprised if he can run onto this strategy for a decent length into the race, that he can get himself right up in the sort of the hunt for the top 6, top 7 positions come the end of it, because you've got to think that the guys behind that have already swapped onto the mediums are well on their way, because already they're almost a pit stop ahead. Redmat's 5 seconds behind Jordan already, so Redmat on the charge. Kieran, however, 2.1 seconds now behind, and has got Iceman all over him.
Iceman looks super confident through that first sector, but you can see how he's extending the track limits. You can't do that too much, but he does seem to be a quicker driver right now, and he must be aware of the threat of Jamie, the imminent threat. He knows that the pink and blue and white car is going to keep catching, and so this could be where we see our first big fight of the race, and Redmat will be absolutely praying that that fight goes on and on and on, so that he can pull away. Let's see, can Iceman get through on the next DRS zone? It'll be on towards the final corner, and it'll be his first big chance, because J-Luke nearly into that DRS range, so it's going to have to be now, or he'll end up under pressure.
And this all stems from the poor pit exit that Kieran got, which is why Iceman was able to close 1.5 seconds. Here he goes to the outside then, and that's up into a net P2 then for Iceman, as he now looks to hunt down the Redmat. What can he do? Can he implant his name on this championship charge? He's 2 seconds down the road.
I think he's going to come back. He's going to come back at him, Kieran, because he's got his DRS on, he's got the DRS open, and this is exactly what Redmat wants, as we see Kieran commit to the inside line, and Jimmy just watches this from behind as the two of them nearly collide at turn 1, and as they head through turn 2's exit, Kieran nearly loses the back end and just has to sit behind, so Iceman has completed the move, but Jamie very much in range, and you know what? Actually, in all this, Iceman has still gained a few tenths on Redmat, and can Iceman get himself up towards the net race lead? He's a bit of a Monaco merchant, this guy. We know he's quick on circuits where you need the quick direction change and the precision, and it seems to be proving to be very helpful for him on another track very similar to that tonight. But can he get it done? It's only lap 4, so long to go in this race.
Let me jump in on that, because I see on the race director, Iceman 1 warning, Redmat already 2 warnings so early in the race, so he has to be very, very careful. J-Luke 1 warning, so I think the best one right now is just I think it's Kieran, who has 0 warnings, who's just like controlling his pace. He has to be maybe careful with Jamie behind him, but I mean, don't fight Jamie at this stage, man. He's faster right now on his softs. He's pumping so much ERS right now, James, so he really has to be careful with that too, because this track is unforgiving without ERS. So yeah, just keep it behind Jamie, use your DRS, you know, you are fast right now, and I'm very curious how Iceman's going to react to this, because being under so much pressure of Kieran at this stage, I don't know if it's worth fighting it, man. Really, just control your pace, manage it, and go on with it.
Well, that's what he's doing. He's letting Kieran go through, and what that does is it ruins Kieran's ERS, because he burnt so much of it down towards turn 1. And I tell you what, Jamie's also a bit lower, so Iceman's doing really well on that sort of side of things, but he's nearly lost it there behind Kieran, and he's got to be so careful. You lose it in these chicanes, you're essentially out of this race. And so you've got to make sure you're close, but not too close, because the dirty air here is a thing, and it can affect you.
Yeah, and I was just looking, I was on board with Kieran for the last lap and a half or so, and he's actually got quite a lot of understeer in the car, but he's holding it quite nicely, but there's a lot of lateral movement as he goes, especially through this corner here. He really runs it up against the wall. We've got a full safety car.
Oh, it's for Jamie Griffiths. His front wing is gone in the S's, and that is going to sort of ruin the race for the top 3 who are still out there on their softs. The rest of the field have all made their first mandatory pit stops, of course. And this will actually help the tyre wear for Jamie and for Jake. And this obviously gets Jake that 10 seconds back.
Owen, you've taken the words out of my mouth, but have you noticed how the 5 Championship 5 drivers are now all one behind the other on track? This is absolutely what we want.
I don't know if this has ever happened before.
Season 3 it happened briefly before Corey's retirement, but then we had the 4 of them just stroll off into the distance, didn't we? Before I think Arnold lead 65 laps and then lost it with a penalty. But we don't mention that one.
Yeah. Oh, Yuri stays out. Yuri stays out. That's gonna be music to everyone's ears apart from Redman. That's gonna be music.
You have to.
Although saying
that,
saying that, in fairness, this is Redman's speed teammate, so perhaps maybe that is music to his ears. And Pete has just nicked himself in front of Casper on his way out of the pits. And, well, they were fighting side by side, but obviously you can't really overtake on a safety car. The game decides who's ahead. And so Casper's going to have to get past someone straight away on this restart. And, in fact, he's ahead of Jamie as well, so I wonder if Jamie's had some sort of trouble trying to get through both of them too, because they were all fighting quite hard. I suppose you can't break the delta, but I'm maybe wondering if he wasn't expecting them to pop out in front of him.
Oh, so you could see them both fighting into turn one, and it was almost Iceman was almost flat out trying to get up ahead, and him and Pete came side by side out the pit lane. So by the looks of it, Pete at the last second just lifted ever so slightly just to make sure that Iceman got that launch into P4 and held Pete as what is effectively now your rear defensive gunner. He can play to strategy now and hold off the likes of Jamie and of Jake and of course Casper, who's on those fresh softs as well. So yeah, this one's not over. An early safety car does change up the strategy for everyone, and it does make it a little bit more interesting. But you know, you've got Yuri at the front, who's almost certainly going to be helping out Matt. But of course,
do you know what?
Ben's going to want some help, and what they can do with Kieran sticking in the middle of them.
Well, this is the problem.
Yeah.
Kieran's going to be sitting there, and he will see when he looks at his position monitor. He'll see speed everywhere. It's speed everywhere, and he's going to have his work cut out because they're not going to make it easy for him. And like I say, I wouldn't be at all surprised if Yuri just has a really bad restart. You know, and Red Matt's got through. Oh no, and Kieran hasn't quite. Oh no, Red Matt's won the championship. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if they play some team games there. And Kieran will certainly not benefit from it. But hey, listen, if they try and play too much, maybe that's where he can take his advantage. But I'm looking forward to this restart, but it won't be for another lap.
And what you say, Owen. What you say, Owen, was absolutely what I was discussing about Yuri in qualifying, how he's done his bit on Tuesday night, so he's come here to try and help his buddies. I'm, at the moment, looking further down the grid. I see Leroy, Mike, Esty Matz, and Ben Harrott have all completed their mandatory stops, and Esty of which is on the hard, so going to the end. Might he play a factor later on? We do not know, but remember, there's no stages tonight, no jokers. It is an all-out sprint to the finish now. 18 laps to go to decide our Season 5 champion.
And I think whilst we're sitting here, of course we've got about half a lap to go before we probably go green again. I'll give you some wildly unnecessary and dumb stats that I've come up from the season. So use it to pass the time.
Strap in, everyone.
So here we go. We've had 35 drivers this season in the Cup Championship, and 30 of them have finished inside the top 10. We've completed 456 laps in total, and 128 of them have been in the wet. That makes 28% of the season was actually in wet weather conditions. There's been 2,139 point scores, 8 different winners, 12 different people who've driven the day, 15 different people finishing on the podium. Your shortest race of the season was 23 minutes and 46 seconds. That was the 25% race at Britain. The longest was that mega race we had in France at the Super Speedway, 62 minutes and 58 seconds. We've had 81 non-finishes or DNFs, and we've had 7 DSQs. OKK leading the way with 3. And overall time penalties, we've racked up over 14 minutes worth of time penalties between everyone this season.
Wow.
That's a stat I have, isn't it? Jacko, you might need a new stat man after that. He's taking your shine there.
I was about to say it.
Everyone knows I keep the basic stats. I mean, I can run you through them right now. All I keep is poles, starts, wins, fastest lap stages, top 5s, top 10s. But Gareth, do you want a job?
Well, I did tell the guys earlier that we've completed around about 460,000 gear changes over the season, give or take around about 1,000 or 2, which is
almost 500,000.
Guys,
that's ridiculous.
just watch my words. Yuri is gonna let Redmat through, and he's gonna play Minister of Defense on Kieran and the rest of his opponents. To be fair, it's that or nothing. I mean, I'm sure Yuri. I mean, all the speed guys are very good team players, so I guess it's not gonna happen that he's gonna fight him.
Well, let's find out, because I bet Kieran's going to expect it, and Kieran has expected it, because he will definitely, surely get by Yuri. But can he get himself by Red Matt? Will he go for it? Not quite into turn 1, but he's got to be ahead. He's got to be ahead of Yuri, and he isn't quite. Can he get him on the exit? Too much rear wheel spin, and yeah, Red Matt has got through, and Kieran didn't, and he had the chance to. And we see side by side, is that Pete and Jamie?
Kieran hit the wall.
Yeah. No, he didn't hit. I don't think he hit.
Yeah, he definitely clipped the wall, and in fact he's getting, look at Yuri all over the circuit, getting it run through the roller coaster, and that's going to hold him up. And look at Iceman swarming around the back end of Kieran as they go towards the left hand, towards the back end of the circuit. He's going to try and go the long way around. There's going to be offline. He's not really going to find too much grip there, but look at Yuri. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's already seeing Red Matt break away by almost a second, and Kieran is going to be desperately trying to find his way past the Kia champion, but Yuri doing exactly what he needs to do for Team Speed Esports as OKK picks up 3 seconds.
Look at Jake making a move on Pete, by the way.
Yep, indeed. J-Luke and Jake are just like hunting them like crazy. It's just, oh man, this is gonna end in tears.
Oh, wow.
Wow, fair play to Pete though, to leave him space.
Look at this, look at this. This is going to be Iceman, and it's going to be Kieran, and they're all going to be overtaking Yuri, but there's not going to be enough room for all of them. Look at this, as they all go side by side in towards the final corner. And down the inside goes Iceman, and he's got himself ahead before the safety car KMI, and Casper was ahead as well of Kieran, and as you say, safety car, and that's for SD Matt, who's out of the race as Yuri pits. Job done.
That is tactical genius from Yuri there. He made sure that Kieran was going the long way around. That opened the door for Ben to go up the inside into the final corner, and he just had the line and had the position when the safety car came out. Yuri playing the team game to absolute perfection.
The only problem is that Casper is on softs behind him. I mean, okay, Casper is not in contention for a C5, but still, I mean, he's a fast driver who can definitely help out maybe an ART teammate, you know, so it's all to play for, to be fair. So it's very curious how things are going to evolve. Even with J-Luke behind, Pete really needs to jump him as soon as possible, because otherwise Pete is just going to play the long game and defend like crazy, you know, so very interesting tactics right now.
Very turbulent restart for Jamie as well, stuck in 7th place. Oh, and he just couldn't do anything on those softs, as he was fine with Pete, but nearly crashed himself out there, so he's lucky still to be in this race.
And so much for SD Matt's going to the end. I mean, I wasn't wrong, because that he lasted another 2 laps and then retired, so he becomes the first retirement of the evening. And as we have a look at the rundown, I wonder if Casper will play the same. This is what play the same game as what Yuri did and what Arnold alluded to. Back Kieran up and then maybe let Catchman through and see if Jamie can get a better restart. He has been number 1 on restarts this season, but finding himself in P7, he is last of the C5, not where he wants to be. But Pete's having a very good race, but don't forget his 1 stop is non-mandatory, and the same goes for Casper. So the Championship 5 are net 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just for your info, Iceman 2 warnings, Red Matt 2 warnings, J-Luke only 1, I think, or he doesn't even have a warning. Yeah, he has 1 warning. I think only Kieran doesn't have a warning right now, so it's looking good for him. Just keep it cool, man. Just keep your head down, do your thing, keep it clean, and everything will be fine in the end. So I has 1 warning, by the way. Excuse me. So yeah.
Can't believe we're only on lap 10 of this race as they all cross the line. We feel like we've been here all night, and there's so much has happened already. I hope you're all enjoying this at home, because we've got so much more to come. Hopefully I say it's going to be at the end of this lap. But as Jacko says, the top 5, net top 5, are all Championship 5 runners, and I still think if Jamie can get himself in the right position, or Jake, sorry, actually, at this point, it really is Jake, isn't it, can get himself up the field quickly enough, he has still got good tyres. If he get 5 laps of green flag racing, you know, he may be the one to get himself up there.
You think you've got to look at Jamie though in 7th position. He's still got the likes, of course, as you say, that Casper's still got to come in and Pete's still got to come in, but Casper's no slouch. He's won races multiple times this season already, so he can stay up there and really play his own game. He doesn't have to worry about strategy too much. Obviously he's going to try and help out Jake as much as possible, but you've got to think that he's going to be just effectively just running his race to help Jake, so he can hold up Jamie for as long as possible. Jamie's got some work to do from 7th position. It's not really an ideal place you want to be, because he's going to be under threat from the likes of Connor, from Jamie, of charging Corey, who after that incident on turn 1 is now down in 10th position, and we know that Corey, when he's got the decision that he's going to have a little bit of fight, a little bit of fire in his eyes, he's going to fight his way through, and 10th position. I'm not expecting the guy from Oxfordshire to be there come the end of the race. And then also we saw Yuri into the box onto hard tyres, and that was a non-mandatory, I believe, as well. So he's now onto hard tyres, still needing to do his 2 stops.
If I was Jamie, to be fair, I'm looking at this from a diver perspective. I don't know if he has he has done 1 mandatory stop, right? If I'm correct? Yeah, he does.
Jamie, yeah, Jamie does.
Yeah, the thing is, I think with Jamie now, he's a little bit stuck because he's in 7th, you know. And we know that tire degradation on the mediums especially is not so bad, so maybe try the big undercut on everybody in clean air, even if you risk that you're maybe in a safety car. I mean, you're done your too many stops, you know. So try 1 push lap on the softs, don't get too cocky. I mean, just do your thing, and then just pit for the mediums and go to the end on them, I'm sure, because his 7 laps all tires on the soft, they are gonna die step by step right now, so he's gotta be careful and keep his head cool.
Right, here we go then. Another restart for this Championship 5, and as Jake sits there on those softs, he'll be looking to try and get Kieran, who will be happy there's a little bit of a break. Well, look at the gap Casper's left. Is he going to do some blocking? Because I tell you what, he's not really got away at all, has he? The top 2 are fine, but the gap between 2nd and 3rd is pretty big already. Kieran can't get himself free as he goes free wide at the back, and there's never an accident as Jamie Griffiths goes round, but then gets sent back round by the cars he crashed into, as hopefully no one got too much damage on it, but I imagine it has to be at least 1 front wing that's gone array there, but no safety car or anything like that for now, as they get themselves successfully through the first part of the S's, and it's speed versus speed then at the front, with Casper very much in tow, and Jake, like I say, on these not fresher but quicker tyres, he's got to do something to try and take a little bit of advantage of the lead before the next set stops.
Jamie has to pit, he's losing ground to Cashman, Kieran, he really has to do something, and he's burning ERS, so or you burn everything right now and you try to come in on mediums, or your race is over, man. Just do something.
Well, in fair, he did overtake Pete.
Kieran tapping the wall again. That's the 3rd time in the last 2 laps that Kieran's clipped a wall, so is there underfloor damage or something from him?
Look at this for the lead, by the way. We're going to have Casper threatening Iceman, and that might force Iceman to go for the move on Red Matt, who's got a big red X above his name, and I really hope he doesn't end up DCing, because here comes Casper. He's going to actually overtake here and move up into 2nd position. Iceman seems happy enough to let that one happen, though. He doesn't want to get himself into any sort of accident. He knows that Casper's going to have to get out of his way at some point with a mandatory pit stop, and it will be this lap. And so Iceman, he did the right thing there, just to defend, or not defend at all, sorry, as Kieran right on the edge, gets into the pits. Jake as well, and Jamie. So the top 2, only one of those Championship 5 not to have their mandatory stops done.
This is risky now, because if you get a safety car, it ruins their races, and our Championship 5 becomes a Championship 3 as we look at 14 to go. But Iceman is now putting the pressure on Red Matt. But like you say, Owen, I do worry about that bit of desync that Red Matt might be suffering from. Oh, there's a penalty. There it is, the first one of the evening.
Yeah, Jamie's out on softs again. How in the earth is gonna get that to the end?
Never safety car.
Yeah, maybe, but you have to pray for a safety car. I mean, I don't know if you can really count on a safety car. Why you don't go on the mediums and play it safe? Now he's gonna push 3-4 laps. Tires are gonna overheat, maybe wear out too much.
This is for the lead. Iceman's going to. Oh no, it's just connection again. This is Red Matt's connection going haywire. I'd be worried about this if I was Red Matt. I'm sure. I hope he can get it fixed, because no other drivers are lagging this. It is on his side.
Yeah.
No DRS just yet.
Keep behind. If I was Iceman, just keep it behind. I mean, you don't have to take any serious risks, you know.
This is worst case scenario for Iceman, really, because you can see, look, that's a lift going up the back straight. He doesn't know where Red Matt is, so he doesn't want to go on the attack.
Jake's just overtaking Kieran out there, by the way, on his softs, which he's trying to take to the end of this race, remember, and this is going to give him a lot of clean air for the next lap or 2. This could have been the move for the championship. Keep your eye on those two, as Redmat and Iceman pit. But Jake, he must have had such a quick middle sector thanks to overtaking Kieran, and he's not quite going to have any DRS, but he may well pick some up on Casper, although he's taking his second stop as well. And so we'll see. And I hope Kieran hasn't got damage, but I can only reason that he's pitting for damage, and that could be us going down to a championship 4 because of this. He needs a safety car. He's got.
Jake comes right out behind Iceman, by the way.
Yeah, wing change for Kieran. Oh, that's a shame. Ooh.
This is on. Yeah. This is on for Jake.
And Iceman's still behind Redmat. I think Redmat sorted his internet out because I don't see the X anymore. He's not jumping. Oh yeah, he's jumping around.
He is.
Oh my god. That's, to be fair, guys, I know you all raced on this game, but this is the most horrible thing for Iceman to cross right now on track, because I mean the car is literally jumping around. It can give you damage for no reason at all, even if it's like 6 tenths in front, you know, like it's just ridiculous. So I really hope that stabilizes for Redmat and for Iceman as well.
I mean, Owen called it at the start. Jake was the only one that we didn't say was a potential winner of this one, and look at him, he's sitting there very pretty in third position, net third position, and right on the tail of both the speed drivers of Matt Redmore and Ben Shaw, is in fifth and second on the track. So
Iceman going for it. I think he's trying it. I think he's going to do something. He has to.
He has to.
Yeah.
No, he's backing off. Wants to be careful he doesn't invite Jake in. Jake, who has never won a JACKOCAR Cup Series race, by the way. What a time to do it, if he can. And he needs to rely on these two fighting hard as the speed drivers go for it. Iceman on the inside. He's going to get himself straight through into the race lead. Net race lead. But look at this. Redmat on his outside wants to fight back, but doesn't want to take his rival out. Doesn't want to take his teammate out. That would cause a lot of friction in the speed chats. But look at these guys. They're catching up on Jess in the worst section of the track possible. No offense to Jess, but she's nowhere near as quick as these guys, and you can see it. Iceman's going to have to do some backing off here to avoid crashing into her, and that could cost him position here, because look at how slow he's having to go. He's going to overtake her now, and I think Jess is going to slow down for the rest of them as well. So it only really held up Iceman, but when he catches Ben Spurs, surely he'll get DRS on that occasion, so he'll get that time back.
Ben Spurs, by the way, might hold everybody up because Jake is his teammate, don't forget, down in P6. And if it does go Jake's way, don't forget, he started off the season with a DNF, a did not start, a DNF, a DNF, a DSQ, and then a DNF. So what a turnaround it could be if he can just find 2 more positions. But will teammate Ben Harrott hold up net race leader Ben Shaw? I think he'll right, Owen.
I think Jake's coming through here on Redmat. He's putting all of his ERS into this on the back stretch. Can he find a gap on the outside? I think he's going to end up in a bit of a cul-de-sac if he does that. Look at that down the inside! Redmat's going to try and get through on Iceman. Side by side, they wheel bind on the exit as Ben holds himself up. He's going to sit on the inside, not pitting, as we see side by side. They're boxing Redmat in, and here comes Jake trying to get through, and this is going to be nearly 4 wide into turn 1. Wow! Every go, it's going to be Jake into the lead.
Iceman penalty as well. Oh my god, this is nice. Very nicely done for Kruijsman. Oh
How committed was that? That was fantastic stuff.
That was one of the best moves I think I've seen on the game for a long, long time. And I mean, talk about throwing your body on the line for Ben there. He actually spun on the exit of turn 1, allowing himself. He got pushed into the corner by Iceman, and Iceman just missing the contact. But what a move from Jake to send it up into what is now a net race lead.
Oh man,
that was close.
Okay, this is like we didn't. How did he miss that?
That was unbelievable. Oh, it's a car off.
83.
There's Connor in the wall.
Oh!
Safety car surely for that.
Safety car, yeah. Indeed.
No way that won't be a safety car, and that will bring Kieran back into play. Although he does have a penalty, you can see him celebrating there a little bit.
J-Luke, J-Luke, he's gonna. This is a blessing for J-Luke.
I was just gonna say. In 83 races of JACKOCAR, before that crash by the way, in 83 races of the Cup Series, I have never ever seen a move like that. I mean, this league encourages the crazy racing, it encourages close contact, but I have never seen 4 wide into turn 1 at Saudi Arabia, and Jake gaining 2 on-track positions and lapping his teammate in the process to put himself in control of this championship. J-Luke pits.
So we're now in a position where you've got Jake Iceman, Red Matt are your top 3. Jamie, he's in the box for a new set of tyres, and he's going to drop a couple of positions, but that's a lot of work for Jamie to do if he's to make it. He's course won his last 2 appearances in the Championship 5, but already you can see he's going to drop down to 7th, maybe 8th position. Jake will be loving this. Look at him sitting there, no penalties. Iceman and Redmat sitting on a time penalty. So Jake just knows he's got to keep it clean. We're going to be under safety car for at least, 2 more laps. And we were talking about the start of this, and in the recap of the season, in the build-up, that a late safety car could possibly throw a spanner in the works for some of these guys, maybe a little bit faster. Jake coming up through the chase. This is working absolutely perfectly.
I still can't quite believe how committed that move was from Jake, because I'm watching it back now, and he hit Ben Harrett as he came through. He just picked a point to turn in, and that's actually what sent Ben Harrett round. I'm sure Ben Harrett probably won't put him under investigation, but it is just JACKOCAR, isn't it? We're allowed to be aggressive like that. But putting yourself into the middle of 3 cars here side by side, that is ballsy stuff. But you know what? You need to do that thing to get a championship in this league. We know it. I said it last night, or on Tuesday night, sorry, with Leroy. If he wanted to win that title, he had to get aggressive with Yuri and force it. But he didn't do it. That's what Jake has done tonight. And like I say, he is 9 laps away from a first ever win in the JACKOCAR Cup Series and a first ever title.
That's crazy. That's just crazy.
Unknown quantity here. I'm not sure if Jacko's been keeping count of everyone's stops, but MK Bourne 4th position at the moment. That's would be his best finish of the season, but also, I mean, Mike he's definitely he was on the naughty step last week, wasn't he, for an issue that he had with Pete back in America. So will we see him potentially just play a bit of a team game here? The speed guy's just up ahead of him. Is he going to think of maybe a lunge into turn 1?
Well, Mike, by the way, I think this is what you're alluding to, Gareth, has completed his mandatory stops. We are on 18 non-mandatory for the race, as we welcome 24 viewers to the stream. That's incredible. That's our best for the season. But yeah, Mike hasn't won a race since the very first playoff race back in Season 1. That was at Azerbaijan, when he won it on penalties versus Pete Knighton, who eventually, of course, went on to win that championship. But where we look at him, Casper now back in it, by the way. He's completed his stops. Leroy has 1 more to go. Jamie Wright finds himself down in P7, and Kieran has completed his stops but is P13. Unlucky for some, including the young man from Aylesbury.
Oh, I'm hyped for this restart, because I'm thinking here, with these guys being so aggressive, or watching Jake be so aggressive into turn 1, knowing that he hasn't got any penalties yet, I have a feeling Iceman and Redmat, they're going to work together as teammates here, and they are going to get their elbows out here. I don't think Jake's going to expect a nice clean end to this season, because both of these guys are looking at a championship for the first time as well. All this top 3 have never seen a JACKOCAR Cup Series title in their lives. Redmat lost one in such harsh circumstances last season in USA. Iceman has been here since Season 2, ready to have a second try at it. And we are seeing Jake, who's never won a race before, try and beat all of them. This just does not end without another fight. I'm sorry, they are not keeping this clean. I'm looking forward to this.
And just Jamie in 7, you know what Jamie is capable of on a restart, so I'm really curious to see how his restart is going to be, because if he nails his restarts and the other ones have 3 seconds of time penalties, he's just in it, because he's just going to jump them on time penalties. The only thing that we have to take in account is Cashman sitting on 0 penalties. Just keep your head down, don't fight them too much, just do your thing.
Cashman not only sitting on not only just 0 penalties, 0 warnings, I believe, as well.
That's crazy.
Jake is held right back here, letting the safety car get all the way in, so he has the whole main straight to play with here, just to prepare himself. Who is going to get this restart correct? as they all head through. It's not been that eventful on restarts for the leaders in previous run-ins. Let's see this time. And Jake has got away with it, but look at Red Matt. He's going to go straight for the lead already. And we're looking at free wide nearly once again. It's right on the outside goes Red Matt. And Red Matt goes back into the lead of the Championship 5. Can Iceman get himself through as well? This is crucial for him. He needs to be ahead. He needs to be able to keep his teammate in sight. But Jake's used his ERS to stay ahead.
Brilliant move there from Red Matt. Brilliant move from Red Matt. Had to get around the outside. Jake, you can see just a bit of a snap with Iceman. That's another penalty for Iceman. That's 6 seconds. Surely that's championship over for Ben. And, well, he needs a miracle now in the last, 7 laps or so if he's to take this one, because Red Matt already starting to break away from his speed teammate. Jake in second position. He just needs to sit in the tracks of Red Matt. He doesn't need to worry about it at the moment. He doesn't need to go on the offensive, because at the moment he's got no worries behind with Iceman on 6 seconds penalties. He's sitting there clean. As long as he's within those 3 seconds, we've got a chase winning the championship.
I'm amazed Pete is still in the race after that crash, but I tell you what, Kieran doesn't mind. He's going to get through a few cars here, and this is going to be properly committed into 22 and 23 for Kieran. No way he keeps it on the track, but you know what? He got ahead. He may just be allowed to keep that one, as we see a lot of fighting in front of him as well. He needs these guys all to keep fighting to get him up the field as quickly as possible. Okay, Jamie and Ben all going for it into the final corner here. And we know how aggressive
Yori down the inside of Kieran. What a move!
That is going to be Kieran trying to cut back. He should make that work, but he's not got any ERS left to use on this lap. As we see Jamie, J-Luke on the back of Casper, he has no penalties, remember. So if Kieran, or if Jake, gets any penalties, then this could still be the man in the box seat as he's up into P4.
There he is.
Casper, let him go.
Told you. Yeah, told you. Ooh, that's almost a warning. Oh my god. Yeah, it's gonna be very, very tight. I think Ben, unfortunately, is out of this with this 6 seconds penalty. I think it's a shame. Oh, somebody's around.
Okay, K's off.
Yeah.
Has he's still got a front wing nose. That shouldn't be a safety car, but he's going to put him way down. His second accident in a few laps, having been involved in the pile-up earlier on with Connor and Corey. But that is Kieran on the outside trying to get through on Yuri. Still can't do it.
Oh man, this is looking so good for Cashman right now. He's just sitting behind Red Matt, nothing Red Matt can do, using ERS at a good time. DRS is going to be enabled as well. I mean, just keep your head down, mate, keep it cool. Just follow Red Matt, do anything silly, and you're just going to win it.
Kieran is flying, by the way. Cracking move on Yori, and then another cracking one on Ben Harrett as he turns into turn 72 of this Saudi Arabia track. Is his championship coming to an end, or is there another twist in the tail? But as Arnold spoke about, Catchman Jake O'Sullivan is sitting pretty, but will Ben accept that his title is over and perhaps try and help his teammate win this title? You just never know.
Ooh, might go defensive. The speed boys are using the ERS like crazy. I think Cashman has the most amount of ERS right now, so you clearly can see that they're gonna try something on him, but he's just controlling it perfectly right now. Just using it when Iceman come close, trying to follow Red Matt through. So I guess he's doing a perfect job right now.
And Jake is 1 3-second time penalty away from making Jamie a 3-time champion. Don't forget that. That's how close this is between the top 4.
Jamie's sort of hoping that these guys start to fight, by the way, because it doesn't look like he has the pace to keep up, and I think Casper is probably going to end up harrying him soon. So Jamie actually needs stuff to start going down at the front, and he's lucky that DRS is enabled in that respect, because they should start going for it, because they're going to have to start making things happen up there. And because, you know, drivers' own interests will start to get involved with that one, and Iceman knows he needs to somehow get in front of these two and have them with penalties. So yeah, Albus will be coming out very shortly, I think.
And you've got to look at Jake in second position. I mean, we've talked about him over the last few laps. This is a man whose average result this season has been 9th in all the races that he's finished. And here he is fighting for what is potentially not only a win here in Saudi Arabia, his first in JACKOCAR, but a championship, as Red Matt goes deep and Jake almost collects the back of him. But he will get DRS. But what will Ben do? Because Ben's going to be tucked up right behind the pair of them. He's going to get a double dose of slipstream here. But look at Jake. Jake is going to go on the offensive. Can he get around the outside? He's already got the move done. Red Matt's surely going to lunge back down the inside.
They do make contact. Where's Iceman going to come through here? He makes more contact with Jake. And Jamie wants more of this because they are going to fight side by side towards 3 and 4. That's not a good idea. As they make contact, the two speed drivers, Redmat and Iceman. Jake just backs off from that. Doesn't fancy getting involved. But now it's speed 1-2 in this race.
Ben is going to help Redmat for sure. 100%.
Yeah, this is what I was saying a couple of laps ago.
Yeah.
And just to add to what Gareth was saying, Jake's won 2 races on track this season, but of course penalties have stopped him from adding them to his total. Now the shoe is on the other foot.
And
But
Jamie's losing back as well.
Yeah, Iceman is affecting this championship then.
Yeah, but do you know what this means? If Jamie can just get into the DRS range of Jake, it could be those two fighting wheel to wheel for this title yet. He needs one more fight of those two up in front, of those 3 up in front, sorry, and then he might just be in that zone. So you cannot count the 2-time champion out of this one just yet, as Jake harries the back of Iceman, who's all over his teammate, and he's onto the DRS. Now, what's the plan as he head towards the final corner? Does he just go for it? I think he's going to back off, and he does
he's
back
lifting.
off. He's not going to go for that, and he's just going to let this one slide for now and hope that on the main straight this stays clean and tidy. Will Jake fancy getting involved? He's on the ERS, he's on the DRS, and Iceman is going side by side with Redmat. Iceman is in front of Redmat, and Jake, is he going to be close enough to do anything? No, he isn't, and that is bad news if your name is if your name's Jamie tonight, because he's losing so much time out there.
I wonder if Iceman hasn't quite given up on this championship yet. Does he think he can find 3 seconds on Matt and then another 3 to Jake?
It's going to be very difficult on 3 laps time, Jacko. Or Cashman has to have a massive oversteer moment or a big moment. That I think if just Cashman keeps it behind Redmat in a good manner, then it's just Cashman's to lose. So I think Jamie's going to need a miracle because they have to fight in front to him to come back in this, but I think Cashman's just he's doing a very mature drive right now, so I'm very, very curious how this is gonna end.
Jamie still without a warning in this race as well. Just to note, there's no warnings for either Jake or Jamie, so it's almost a straight fight between the pair of them now.
Jamie needs a safety car, realistically, at this point. I just don't think he's going to be able to catch up in time here.
However, he is in that 3-second window if Jake were to get a penalty. But as it stands, Jake is the Season 5 champion. DRS open on Matt and Jake as they head down towards turn 27. What's going to happen here then?
No, don't back out of it. Yeah, go for the switchback. Or the outside, of course.
Redmat isn't letting a switchback happen as Casper overtakes Jamie, and I think it's getting worse and worse for the 2-time champion as here comes Jake. He's going to go for the outside in towards turn 1. And surely he'll get it done this time. But Redmat, will he throw it back up the inside? Yes, he will. He's going to try and keep this one, and he does. He's just in front. And I have a feeling that they keep fighting at that. Iceman will break the 1-second barrier by the end of this lap. Let's see.
And he's got 3 laps to do it, to try and put his name on the title.
He is.
Here will he join the list of Pete Knighton, 2-time champion Jamie Wright, and El Khalifa from Season 3.
Casper's made a big error. He is now way behind Jamie. So Jamie, it's all up to you now. If you want this, you've got to go for it.
He's got the freshest tyres as well as Jamie. He's on 6 laps compared to Jake's 10, and of course Redmat and Iceman with 9, so he's got the fresher tyres, but it's just looking as though every corner he's losing a tenth or so. He's just not able to stay with the pace with the top 3, and Jake at the moment, you can see still putting the pressure on Redmat, and down the straight, you could see he was still pinging around a little bit, and Jake was just a little bit tentative to go around the outside, not knowing if Redmat was going to lag into him, but he's still following him, but this is allowing Iceman to break now. It's going to be hard for Iceman to break 3 seconds, but 1 second is still the gap. We're going to go on lap 24-25 of the championship.
I'm looking at Kieran as well. Trying to make something work as Jake backs up again, but Kieran, he still wants to fight in this, but look at the 4-way fight he's involved in as he tries to make his way up to 5th place, but look at it, it's just a wall of cars for him as Jake on lap 24 isn't using his ERS. That tells me he doesn't want to get past just yet, as Kieran, he does need a miracle. He needs a massive miracle right now. He needs to get past these 3 cars. He's going to get 2. Will Casper get to keep that spot? Maybe he will, but he's definitely got 1. He just needed 5 more laps, did Kieran, because he is actually getting his way back up there. He's showing so much fight, but it's just too late as Casper tags the wall. That might be another spot for Kieran, and it is.
Yep, too late for a safety car now, by the way, so this is it to the end.
Oh my god, this is crazy for Jake. He just has to keep it clean. His tires are just crying.
The thing is, I wanna get into conspiracy mode now, because we have seen this before where crashes on last laps have decided championships. Does Redmat try anything on Jake to force a 3-second gap? I don't want to say he's mean, but I mean, it's your last race in the league. Who cares, really? I mean, he's not going to be able to get revenge on you for it. If you want a title, Jamie's nearly 3 seconds behind all this. Do something. Get him a penalty. Do something. Because here comes Jake, and Jake is closing in. This is where Redmat try and make something happen. But Jake is not letting him do that, as Jamie loses another second. So this is now well over 3 seconds.
Owen, I think Jake knows what's at stake here as we go with 1 lap to go in Season 5 as Redmat starts to lag again. He's hit the lag button. I wonder if it's going to put Jake off. Can Iceman find 6 seconds? Can Jamie try and get himself back into this? Or is it going to be
Kieran's gonna
Jake
crash.
O'Sullivan?
Kieran's had an accident and he's into the side of MK Bourne. He's back into the top 5. The Championship 5 do occupy those top 5 spots. But Jake, I think Jamie's had an accident. Yeah, Jamie's had an accident, so Kieran might get him as well. I mean, if it all goes wrong at the front, Kieran might be the man now as he gets himself up into P4. Jake, I mean, Redmat can't do anything about this. Redmat can do nothing. Jamie is sadly tumbling down the order now with his front wing damage, and Iceman is heading towards the checkered flag.
Matt is going to hold him up.
And Matt,
trust me, he's going to be in Minister of Defense, I think.
Yeah, but look at the run Jake has. I mean, he can just do whatever he wants. He saved so much DRS. And Redmat is trying to put him off, but there's just nothing he can do. And Jake is just one braking zone away now from becoming the champion. But let's see as he heads towards. Is he going to make the move?
He's going to overtake him.
Yeah, that's a risky thing to do, though, because this invites Redmat, who makes contact and dives him into the final corner. And I tell you what, he tried his best to put him off, but it's not going to work, because here comes Jake. Fantastic. He's never won a race in JACKOCAR before. He's about to take the championship tonight and his first ever victory in the Cup Series. What a time to do it! Jake is your Season 5 JACKOCAR Cup Series champion.
Is it the first chase drive for Jacko?
Talk about
it's
coming
the first one in Cup Series.
Catchman, what a race from him. He did exactly what he needed to do. He was the underdog coming into this one. No one thought that he was going to be the winner. As Jacko said earlier, didn't score a point until the 7th round of the season. That's how under the radar Jake's gone this season. It's been an absolutely fantastic Championship 5 race here at Saudi Arabia. We've had, look at that, the Championship 5, as you say, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. That's exactly what you want to see. If you're Kieran, you're going to be pretty gutted with yourself. Jake is, well, I'm sure, going to be absolutely bouncing off the walls. Redmat did all he could to help his teammate Iceman at the end of that one. Iceman had that gap at one point. It was just over 2 seconds at the end of that, but not quite enough. But wow, what a race there from Kajvan. He is going to be absolutely ecstatic, and you cannot take anything away from what he's done in this race.
Yeah,
what a mature drive. Wow, so composed, in control, insane.
Redmat was 2.7 seconds away from getting Iceman that title on the last lap, and he did everything within the rules and he didn't break them, which was good to see. And because he didn't break them, we got to see a championship decided without a penalty. Alright, maybe it was one on track like that, but Jake O'Sullivan, 0 points after 6 rounds, never won a race in the Cup Series, but he's won number 83, and the importance of that means he is the Season 5 JACKOCAR Cup Series champion.
That's got to be one of the most surprising results, I suppose, the Championship 5 has ever brought up to us. I mean, that was a complete underdog, and he's done it with the fastest lap as well. You know, he's sort of embarrassed a little bit tonight here. What a way to win the championship. The order at the end of the Championship 5: Jake, Redmat, Iceman, J-Luke and Kieran. Then Jimmy Griffiths, Jordan, Leroy, MK Bourne, Ben, Casper, Jess, Pete, OKK, and Yuri, then the retirements of Corey, Connor, and SD Mans. But like I say, what a way to win a championship. Honestly, I couldn't think of a better way to do it, because we all said it at the start of the season about how bad it went. It's turned around so dramatically.
It's great.
Yeah. We
Nothing
did say
to add to this. To be fair, it's insane how things turned around for him, and you see what is beautiful to see too in JACKOCAR, that you see the drivers evolve from step to step, from race to race, season to season. You see, and Cashman is like the perfect example how you can turn around your season and how well he evolved in the league. So it's fair play to him. All credits to him.
it goes to show that the system can prove. It can prove that anything can happen, as always. I mean, we saw last season in Kia when Nils, the chase champion, won the title. We finally got one in Cup Series. And Jake, to come back from Monaco last year when he was a couple of points away from getting into the Championship 5 there. He was gutted, by the way. I remember speaking to him after that race. To come back, have an awful start, go to a new wheel, have some average results, win the chase, and then win your first JACKOCAR race, which, along with that, comes a title. That's quite a turnaround. Great character from Jake, and well done to him. He deserves that.
Best result of 5th this season is Jake. That's how much of an average season it's been for him. As you say, has crossed the line a couple of times first, but demoted down to 5th position. But I mean, he takes not only the win, not only the championship, but surely, and I'm sure you probably will agree with me, overtake of the year as well. That one of the best overtakes I think I've watched in any league. The nerve to go down between 3 cars, threading the needle into a corner where he was going to be the 3rd person going into the inside. So that was an all or nothing move, and he had the nerve to do it in the race that mattered. And well, look what it's done, look what it's brought him, because he effectively got. Do you think, well, I'm not going to say anything about Red Matt or Ben, but did that get into the psyche of those two? Because that was an all or nothing move, and they had to fight and claw to get back past him, and from then it was just tactical. He just held behind. He knew that he didn't have to overtake, and he held off what effectively was Red Matt standing there with a shield trying to help out Ben on that last lap, and he didn't think about throwing it down the inside. He didn't clip the wall, and he came home, and he's now your C5 season 5 champion.
The 4th different JACKOCAR series champion. Then we've stopped Jamie from doing the 3-peat. I think a lot of people were expecting that one, but geez, what a way to end the season. I'm glad I insisted, Jacko, on you putting this as Challenger 5, because I told you, do Challenger 5, he said no. I was right, just a minute.
On stream are we still live? I'd rather you turn the recording off and then I'll tell you after. But Owen White, you were correct. Saudi Arabia has delivered not only the Cup Series race, but the Kia Series finale as well, and that was pretty good as well. But Cup Series, once again, delivers, as it has done all throughout this postseason. And
bring on Miami.
Another
shot. Indeed.
Miami Season 6. That, by the way, was Jake's 46th start in the Cup Series, and it was his first win.
Simple, lovely, mate. Like Max Verstappen would say.
Indeed. And so with that, it is the end of Season 5. It is the end of F1 2021. We've done a stream where the game hasn't crashed on us. Thank goodness for that. We've made it to the end. Thank you to Jacko, thank you to Arnold, and thank you to Gareth. What a commentary team that was tonight. And what a race the Championship 5 gave us, and congratulations to Jake. What a championship win. And we'll be back in Season 6 to do it all over again. Enjoy your summer, and we will be back soon. Safe travels.